I'm Minsalad, and I saw the Twilight Zone Season 2, Episode 29, The Obsolete Man. It is directed by Elliot Silverstein, written by Rod Serling. If you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. This episode is so important, and here's why. There's a librarian who's being declared obsolete because librarians aren't needed anymore. Nobody reads or has any knowledge of any kind. We got this state who's like, you get to be sentenced to death within 48 hours. And the chancellor, who's personally upholding these orders, he's like really offended that the librarian would be like, come on, man, why does this system exist? This goes against everything that humans fight for or whatever. I actually do like being a librarian, and I would rather die than live in this society where I have to stifle myself. I'm like, same, yeah, let's go. He asks for an assassin who determines how he will die, and he determines that the assassin doesn't tell anybody else how he's going to die, and it's going to be televised. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That'll be interesting. I think he's going to have the chancellor set as an example, or at least the chancellor learns a really big lesson with the televised part, because this next step, the librarian invites the chancellor, and the chancellor comes in, and then the door is locked, and this is televised, by the way. He's like, what would you do if I were to tell you that there's a bomb in this room, and you only had like a few minutes left? The librarian went to his Bible, and just starts reading it, and he's praying to God. He's like, I'm alright with this. I'm coming home, right? That's how the librarian is dealing with it. Versus the chancellor's like, oh my goodness, get me out of here! Get me out of here! I want to get out! Get me out! Really embarrassing himself. Clearly has not accepted his death. Clearly is not enjoying his life. So he doesn't want to die because he's like, life's the only thing I have. Versus if you are actually living a fulfilling life, live every single day knowing that tomorrow could be the last day, or today could be the last day, and you're okay with that fact. But the chancellor clearly is not okay with that fact, meaning he's not living his days to the fullest. He's stifling himself in order to be part of this society that then declares him obsolete because he proved to be a coward. And then he's going to be put to death, and then he actually just gets beaten to death. And that's the episode. What a beautiful episode. I love this because it goes to show, humans will create groups with rules, and if people don't adhere to the rules, then they get punished and excommunicated. Where have I seen that before? Oh boy. So many instances of this happening throughout history, and might actually have happened to you too. Maybe you had a friend group, right? And you said the wrong thing, and they hated that you said that, so they excommunicated, and now you don't talk to that friend group. That's what's happening in this episode, but this is a societal level of that happening. And I like the narration too. The narration's like, this might not happen, but this could happen. So this is to be a warning. Don't do this, and institutions that have against the interest of humanity is not a good institution for humanity. I'm like, yes! Oh my goodness, I love this episode. I absolutely love the message. I like the framing of the chancellor and anybody who's in the government. They're on a really high pedestal, and people below them are just like the peddling middleman. They have to look up to them like they're literal gods, like you're treating the state as some sort of deity. And I like the visual representation of that and how it's filmed in camera. It's very metaphorical that the state is put on such a pedestal that the humanity part of it is just like, who cares about humanity differences? We don't need that. We can all be the same. We can all be homogenous. We can all just dress like each other, wear the same clothes. We can be a whole Harrison Bergeron situation over here. That's what this episode reminded me of. Harrison Bergeron. But obviously Harrison Bergeron came after this episode. Oh boy, what do you think of this episode? Have you seen it? You've got to. It is life-changing. It will change the way you think about people if you already don't think this about people, which is what I said about people, which is what I said in this review. Let me know what you think. If you've made it this far, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to comment what you think of this episode and this review. I gotta give this one, oh my goodness, I love this one so much. It's a solid 9 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one on the platform. Likes at $20 details at patreon.com/ASEPresents. One movie review per 1 month. Link tree supports the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, so you can go here. And until next time, mint salad sauce. See you later, my sour croutons and bacon bitch. Now I'm gonna go find somebody to make obsolete myself. Yeah. Goodbye.